Welcome to another episode of You First. That's right. It's all about you, and you. I am Shawanna Kennedy, your host, and I'm excited, as always, to be here with you. That's right, because not only are you, hello, gorgeous, but you are unbreakable. And today I have a young lady with me so that we can talk about all things self-care, mental well-being, personal development, and empowerment. That she has done all of those things. She is a mother. She is a person that is killing it in the commercial real estate sector. But hey, this young lady is also someone that, man, oh man, she has over 20 years in the U.S. Naval Services. And this young lady, y'all, is a nuclear engineer. Yes. But today, right now, we're about to have a You First conversation. So won't you help me welcome to the platform, Miss Andrella Pusha. Welcome.
Hello. How are you?
Thank you, and welcome to You First. I'm excited, y'all, because I had to pull her. Like pulling her is like pulling a good old stiff wisdom tooth because she is that busy. That's right. You see, she laughing because that's no lies up in this place. I'm excited. So Andrella, thank you for pausing for the cause. Like I said, knowing that you have over 20 years as a person that chose to go to the military. So we thank you for your service. And I am proud. I'm proud to know one of the first Black females to accomplish being a chief petty officer on in a naval power plant? What is that, a nuclear engineer? We don't meet those every day, right?
You don't. Like, as a matter of fact, there's less than 10 of us. When I made it, I was number 2, and that was in 2010. And I think till date, there's still less than 10 of us that have reached that rank. So all the aircraft carriers, all the submarines, nuclear power in the Navy is driven by us. And while I wish there was more diversity, there is not. And it was definitely an honor to serve, I will say.
I love it. Thank you for your service. But
You're
today,
welcome.
with all of that power, hello, nuclear engineer, I want to have the you first conversation with you, because oftentimes, we talk to moms, dads, people that are nurturers, people who are actually caretakers, caregivers of individuals. So I want to talk about a person that, like all of those things, that took a lot. And I know you are a mother. So I want to tap into mom. I want to tap into that nurturing side. I want to tap into that self-care side. I want to tap into that authenticity and that self-awareness, because I know your journey had to have been tough, right? I mean, tougher than for a lot of people, especially accomplishing the things that you've got to accomplish in your life. What is part of that You First story? What, name an occasion where you knew, even being a mother, loving who you love, the people in your life, but life showed up and you had to make you a priority? What happened for you?
That is such an impactful question. So, I mean, I take it to the place where we can get emotionally transparent. So we're going to get naked emotionally a little bit, if that's okay. Can I
That's what
get real with you for a second?
Yes.
I would say one of the moments was we had just come back from out to sea. We were gone for like 3 weeks, and it was a scheduled 3 weeks. When I left, my daughter was not potty trained. And so I came back. I had duty the day we pulled in. So I leave work. I'm still in. Oh my gosh, there's all this stuff to do as soon as I get home, because I've been gone for 3 weeks. Daddy has been holding down the house, and he worked, and he was being a dad and filling in for me. And I get home and I'm on the couch. I'm taking off my Navy uniform. I'm loosening up my boots, thinking about all the stuff I got to do. And my daughter runs by and says, I gotta use the bathroom. And I was like, did you potty train my child while I was gone? And he was like, our child. I mean, sure, but did you potty train my child? And so we went back and forth with that. And he was like, yeah, of course he did. And he potty trained her the week I left, as a matter of fact. But I remember sitting there with like one boot on, one boot off. I'm still in my blue camouflage uniform. And I realized that I had been back 36 hours and I hadn't even thought about me. I had been so checked into work because the day we pulled in, I couldn't leave. And as soon as, on the way home, I was thinking about them. And then, all my motherly duties, my significant other duties. And I'm sitting there like, if something were to happen to me right now in this moment, the world would continue to go. People would miss me and there'd be some gaps. But what about me as a person? And that probably, I don't know how long I sat there that day with one shoe on and one shoe off, coming to terms with the fact that they're going to be okay. And it's okay to slow down to make sure that I'm okay. Because I hadn't done
that. And that happens all too often. And you said you were away. So just imagine when you're there and all the hustle and the bustle and you look up and the weeks turn into months. And it's like, I'm deteriorating and everybody else is happy and well because they're getting what they need. Right. Now,
let me tell you what I did start to do during that time. So this is, over 10 years ago. And I recommend it to a lot of people now. One of the things that I did like to do when we were in port was, I'm a massage woman, but I would normally find myself going when I was tired or exhausted, or, you get to that point where you feel like, oh, I just need to go get a massage. My body feels tight. I know I'm stressed. Well, what I did was I started putting me on the calendar first. And I started putting my massages at the time. I would do 3 months at a time. Nowadays, I am on the schedule at the location and in my calendar until December of 2025. Now, that might not sound like anything, but when you look at your calendar and you go to schedule life, and this person wants to meet with you, and this person would like to talk to you, and you got to go do this, and all these different things that need to be done, the mental shift that happens when you know that you have prioritized yourself up front and you're taking care of what you might like to do instead of doing it when you feel like you're at a breaking point, was a game changer. It's a game changer.
Now, even deciding to join the military, was there something even prior to that where you said you needed more, where you felt like you needed more of you? This whole, when we think about self-discovery, being on our own, learning something new, and really stretching and reaching, what did it look like for you before you ever got there? Because we already know you are, being a nuclear engineer, a heck of a leader. What did that look like when you said, I actually have to do something different right here because because sometimes our intuition, our gut, when they say, listen to your gut, tells us that we need more, tells us that something is lacking, something is missing. And then we began to search for it. I know, and I remember all too well when I went on my own self-discovery journey. What did that look like for you?
That self-discovery journey is probably why I joined the military, to be, honest with myself about it. I had gotten to a place where I was coming up on almost 4 years after high school graduation. And while I had gotten a scholarship to go to school, I didn't go because my grandmother had gotten very, very sick. She was my last grandparent alive. And I was like, if something happens while I'm gone, I wouldn't forgive myself. And so I didn't leave. And before I knew it, I had a salary job working as a bookkeeper in an office. And one day I remember looking around thinking, this can't be life. I worked with some older women in the office, and I was like, there has to be more. I feel like my life is supposed to be bigger than everything around me that I could see. And I felt like if I didn't do something different, that I would die with that same level of complacency that I saw all too often. And so I picked up the phone and I called the recruiting station.
I love it. And do you feel, even in there, not only learning their rules, now this is someone else's rules, this is someone else's regulations, but about yourself, did you have the moment of loneliness, the moment of, is this what I should really be doing while you were there? Because I get the opportunity even right now, because my youngest is a part of the JROTC, even though we know, we Air Force people around here. We Air Force people around here. Hey, to the Air Force. But even watching her navigate this, even through high school, I see how the things that, of course, start to kind of train us. But then I'm watching her learn more about herself because, in those stages and ages, and with you being a mom, it's like, what did that feel like even after now you signed up, now you're all sworn in, and then you go off? What does that look like?
Every day looks different. Every day you show up as the world needs you to, as the command needs you to, as your sailors need you to, as your children need you to. Right as I was about to retire, I remember reading a study about veteran homelessness that led me down this rabbit hole of trying to understand, how could a person spend 20 years in military service and then get out and be homeless and struggle with getting life together? And that led me to learning about how so many people have identity challenges.
Let's talk about it.
And so what you're asking me about is, a lot of times when we're younger, we start down that path, but we don't really return to who we are until our later years, because we spend every day showing up the way the world needs us to be. I just did an interview a couple weeks ago, and we were talking about, how many people don't know who they are. Like, they know who they have to be. They know their job title. They know they're a mom, a wife, but like outside of those things, who really are you? And so I would work to make sure, like, when I went in, I had a section of my family that was very wealthy. So I would brunch with the mayor and, hang with the long old money of South Carolina. And then I had a part of my family that wasn't so wealthy. And I never really thought about the differences between the two, because they were all who I was, very much so. And so when I went into the military, the nuclear engineering community is not diverse at all. Like, I remember my 2-year training program, every Black person, we all knew each other because there was this many people at the command. And so I always just knew how to show up as me in any setting, because who I've been over the years has always been, me. But if I need to do this because my daughter needs me, or if I need to do this because my role as a significant other is, requiring this, or at the job, they need me to be the chief. And some of these guys have never worked with females in their life, more or less be supervised by one. That's a gentle, sometimes a little gentle bit of a travel to take. But what you're asking is something that people should be unpacking every single day. Every single day. Every yesterday that I've had the pleasure of experiencing on this planet is going to shape how I see tomorrow. And while I am divinely who God made me to be, imperfectly perfect, I understand that my experiences, regardless of how hard, difficult, easy, light, joyful, whatever it is they may be, they're always going to change how I see the world, how I see people. Now at this age in my life, in my youth, I know that I can't change other people, but I can change me. I can change how I react to things. I can change my own set of personal boundaries so that, out here in Jurassic Park, that's what I call the civilian life, Jurassic Park. It doesn't feel so wonky, so I would tell people to travel light emotionally so you can take the lessons that you need. But self-discovery is something that is a daily journey, just like a faith walk. It's a daily process of learning.
Now, because I love what you just said right there. And when we think about identity, because every now and then, and there is actually nothing wrong with it, because we are believing that we are people that are constantly evolving, right? I'm a life learner. And that means that some of that life learning is not only about up leveling your skill set and things like that, but it's life learning and learning more about who you are in this life, because we are supposed to be humans, not just beings, but being humans that are doing things, and that's doing things for us so that we show up more for ourselves, so that the people, the places, and the things that need who we are, what we have, they get all of us. They get all of us. They get the fullness and the authentic part of ourselves. I know that that's something that you talk a lot about, being authentic. When you come into the place where you're around individuals, because I know there's some mentoring going on, because you're a mom. And how do you help individuals where you clearly, because you're very smart, very intuitive, and you're able to lean in and pick up on certain things, how do you do this dance of being saying, hey, I know in some cases I have truly had to, and I don't mind, and I love it. I've been able to lend my confidence to someone else. How do you help someone else walk down that road when you clearly can see that this is something that they need to do? How do you help someone else to put themselves first, to make it all about them? Of course, as I say to everybody looking and listening, it is never above your creator, but we are a gift, and we have to remember that. How do you help individuals walk that road?
As a teenager, my grandmother would say, everything that you go through in this world is not for you. And a long time ago, I realized that some of the people that I'm going to impact the most, I'm never going to meet. And I'm okay with that. And so what it looks like is sometimes it's inviting the question of, why are you doing this? Why does this matter? Are you sure the battlefield that you're even on? Recently, I had to tell a client that, right? So in commercial real estate, I meet people from all different avenues, right? So without going into any details, we were having a conversation about, I want this property. But also in the conversation is, I don't think somebody else wants me to have this property. Well, sweetheart, like in biblical times, there were some people that didn't like Jesus. So there's always going to be somebody, right? There's 9 billion plus people in the world. It's okay. But why do you want to do this? Is this a good decision? Is it a logical decision? Commercial real estate is pretty dry financial. It's big on numbers, facts, logic, what makes sense for a person's business. But it starts in here. It's easy to say I know who I am. It's easy to say I know whose I am. But sometimes as people, we fall out of alignment with that. And so those questions a lot of times are just reeling back into, why are you doing this? Are you clear with yourself? It might even be a private conversation of, girl, who hurt you? And did you really forgive them? Because why are you letting XYZ have so much power and dominance over who you are today? Because sometimes we don't see that, Sometimes we don't realize we've been carrying duffel bags over the years when really God said, bring this travel light, and know that I already got you down there. You just got to come on. You just got to walk the walk. and take the steps. He didn't say bring all this stuff. And it's easy to say that today. It's not always easy to remind ourselves of that. So sometimes I find myself in, when I hear the opportunity to help a person with, a lot of times it's just their perspective, I do so. And I don't quiver from that, because for whatever reason it's on me. Sometimes it's something that I just need to hear out loud for myself. Mm-hmm. One of the things, what I just told you, one of the things that over the last few years I've been hearing very loudly in my life is that, because oftentimes people need to lean on us, they can't lean on me if they can't find me.
Say it again.
They can't lean on me if they can't find me. So while after I retired from the military, I got very comfortable, I will say, kind of like, as the country people would say, laying low like a gator. and out of the spotlight and just doing the work that was in front of me. But I've realized that the strength that I have sometimes doesn't make sense for me. Accolades, titles, cutes, those things are all cool, but unless I'm using it to help the people that God assigned to me, and they don't have a stamp on their forehead to know who they are, right? I don't know who they are. That being me and being me boldly, confidently, loudly, everywhere that I go, it doesn't mean being loud as a person, but being comfortable in this beautiful skin he gave me, flaws and all, that a lot of times that is doing just that. Creating that safe space.
I love that. Don't y'all love it? Don't you love it, Trella? Oh my goodness. I appreciate what you just said. And that sentiment, it really does. It means a lot. And we have to understand that, because we do know that there is a big call on our lives, right? If we're here, we look and we listen, and you know it, that there's a call, there's a purpose, because God makes no mistakes. If we're here, then that means there is something that we all have to do. We all have our own path, and it will look different. However, God does put people in place to help us along the way, to give us food for thought, to help feed us, to help pour into us, to let us know, one, that we're not even by ourselves. We are not alone. You're not the only person. So we know, of course, that he could come down here and do it himself, but he chooses to use us. And I love that, because if we don't know who we are, then we won't be filled of the person that we need to be, so that the people that we're intended to help, as you said, some people we'll never see, and we help them and have no idea. I love it. And I find all the time when somebody may inbox me and I'm looking like, who is this person?
Right.
You see what they may have seen or heard something that you even made them smile, that you may even help them to hold on just a little while longer. Right. And you have to know that it's bigger than us. Yes, it is about us. I'm going to say that. Yes, it is about us. Right. And it's because so that he can get the glory out of our lives. It's supposed to get the glory out of our lives. And he wants us to have a life and live a life more abundantly. And if we're living a life of abundance, I'm able to help you. You're able to help me, even if it's through just an exchange of words, even if it's just the exchange of words to help me say, yeah, I am doing something right. I am on the right path. Or just in case I have a question, God has put smart people around me. I love smart people. Put smart people around me that I can be like, hey, it's me. And they'll take my call, right? And they'll take my call and I can ask a question. So I appreciate our conversation today. And I want you to, I'm going to get out of the way. And I want you just to lean into that one person that just might be looking and listening, because you're an entrepreneur, you're a business owner, but you're also a mother with minor children. I need you to talk to that mother with minor children. It doesn't matter if she's married. We know that you have significant other. Talk to that person. Give me 60 juicy seconds of just laying in and just really talking to that person right now.
Hey, girl. Hey. It is okay to love on you first. You know, there's all these different blueprints on how to live life, but they all start with who you are and why. When you get clear on why you do things in life, the how becomes so much easier. You know, there's so many different places in the Bible and so many places in our lives that we get testament that tough times don't last for always, and that all things are always working together for the greater good. I would remind you that even if it doesn't feel good, even if the days get tired, even if the days feel long, hold fast into the fact that when you remember why, and the why isn't cheesy, the why isn't going to be something that's light, like, oh, I like to help people. The why might be because I need to retire my husband, because in 10 years, I want to be able to travel the world with our family. The why may be so that 25 years after I'm gone off the planet, I need my children to know how to do X, Y, and Z. Like, we're at a stage in life where, because of the information age and the automation age that we live in, life is going to start to go by very, very, very fast. Start with here, start with here, start with why, and then you figure out the what you want to do. And then the how, when you unpack that every day and you do those, you sit down and you get quiet with yourself about, what did I learn? What was successful today? What hurt me? How to not carry that hurt? How to look in the mirror and forgive yourself so that you're not holding on to things unnecessarily long. And then you know how to pick up those bags and keep going. Because like I said, I think we're supposed to travel with a roller bag. And sometimes we forget. And before you know it, we got a whole 5-piece luggage set with a shoe bag and everything else, you know, rolling around behind us in life. And that's hard that way. So to the mother, to the business owner, like, I am you and you are me. Going through the journey of life is hard. But there's 9 billion plus people in the world that God will send you. So there's going to be times when you're going to feel like you're a forest. And in the forest, it could be dark, it could be dangerous, it could be sticky, it could be animals out there, there's predators out there. But when you get quiet with life, you'll realize that there's this big, massive tree that just doesn't make sense. But you know it's strong and you know it's safe. And so when you take one step, the people will be around you to help you take 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. And before you know it, you are going to be meeting, if you're not already, you'll be meeting new goals or going to new levels that you didn't even sometimes see for yourself. And then you pick up the next person, you bring with you. Because I promise you, as you elevate in life, the air gets different. Reach out to and bring somebody else with you.
I love it. Don't y'all love her? That's right. Be put in the comments. Let her know. Say, we love you, Andrella. We love you. You will be able to find all of Andrella Pusha's information online. Matter of fact, you can find her. Go right over even to LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. You can find her there. But I'll make sure that you can find Miss Andrella Pusha. And we appreciate you so much, sis. I love you. I love you. I love you. Thank you for stopping by You First, because we need it. I need it. I was glad to be able to have a conversation with you. But don't you go nowhere. Let me get them out of here.
I love you. Thank you.
All right, y'all. I'm excited. I love this conversation because every now and then, even when you think about being and putting yourself as a priority and putting you first, there are people who have major, serious jobs and things that they have to do. However, they still have other responsibilities. So every now and then, you already know that I love to bring people that are robust and that can actually get in touch with you, lean into things that maybe you saying, Shawanna, that's my life. I see like her. I'm more like her. I want you to be unbreakable, knowing that it is things that we have to do in this life and that we're called to do. I want you to be mindful to put yourself at the top of the to-do list of your life and get some things done for who? The who in all of this is you. I appreciate being your host. Thank you so much for tuning in for this episode of You First. I will see you again on our next episode. This episode is brought to you by Kennedy Media and Entertainment. your premier video productions and digital visibility partner. Working with business owners just like you to be seen, heard, and paid by elevating your brand with high-impact video content, online visibility strategies, and expert social media management. Ready to stand out in your industry, on and off camera? Contact Kennedy Media today, and let's turn your message into a movement, because visibility isn't optional, it's essential. Contact KennedyMediaLLC.com, KennedyMediaLLC.com, and let's boost your brand's visibility. It's time for you to be seen, heard, and known for your expertise. Contact us today.